Hey, what's up? This is Scott with the Level Up Tuts, and today we're going to be talking about Boolean data types within JavaScript. And Boolean is a word, if you are new to programming, you might not have heard before. And it's named actually after a famous mathematician, philosopher, all sorts of stuff, who basically invented what's now called Boolean logic, which is the idea of true and false. Oh, this guy's name, by the way, of course, is George Boole, so thus Boolean. And so Boolean values in programming are really important, and you'll be using them all of the time. So how can we conceptually use true and false values? Well, let's say you wanted this screen to be blue if a certain value is true or something like that. You could say if this value is true, then the screen is blue. If the value is false, the screen is red. Of course, you could change the color of the screen with JavaScript or jQuery or something like that. But either way, you will be using these Boolean values in conditionals, in ways to prove things and ways to check to see if things exist and all sorts of stuff. So let's get into it and let's see how we can use Booleans. And we're going to use this in a basic way, but in the next video, we're going to talk about some operations, equals, greater than, that sort of thing. And actually, we're going to get into a little of that here as well. But we're going to get into it in a little bit more useful way with if statements. So, that said, we're going to make a new variable. And this variable is going to be open. So let's just say open. Maybe you can think of this as being a door. If the door is open, we can set this to true. And just by typing the words lowercase and no quotes or anything, and then put a semicolon at the end, notice how if I put quotes around it, it turns yellow? This doesn't actually have the same meaning as it does without the quotes. Without the quotes, it physically means true. With the quotes, it means the word true. So let's get rid of these quotes here, and now this means true. Notice how my code coloring is actually showing a color, just like this 3 is. So open is equal to true. That's great. And now if we did something like console.log open, of course you'd expect, sorry for my typing here, console.log open, and then a semicolon at the end. You expect our browser to then spit out something that said true, like we see here. Of course, because it's just spitting out this value. Now, we can get into things where we can make a true value false simply by putting an exclamation point in front of it. So by saying not open, it's saying it's not true, which is going to be equal to false. So now let's refresh this, and we see false. Likewise, if we move this exclamation point in front of true, it's going to be setting open to not true, which is then going to print out to false. Now, we don't have to do exclamation point true to get false. We can just type in false here. And that is just like true, it's going to come up with false. But what happens if we do not false? Well, now we refresh, it's going to be true. So you have two options here, true or false. Not false is equal to true, not true is equal to false, that sort of thing. So you can use this exclamation point to check for things like that. However, if you're setting something like this to be false, you would almost never ever say var open is equal to not false. You would say var is open is equal to true. Now, we'll go over this exclamation point in later videos and show you exactly how it's useful for other things. But just to know that that exists and it negates something, or it reverses it in this case, true and false. So it negates a true, yeah, okay. So what are other uses, right? So we had this console log value plus value down here, and this just output the value itself. Well, what happens if instead of some sort of math operation, Notice how we can do asterisk here, refresh, and you get the 9, and that's multiplying. We'll go over more math stuff too, but what happens if we want to see if this value is equal to itself, which it's going to be? So actually, let's get rid of this value, and let's have a 3 here. We want to check to see if value is equal to 3. So we can say equals equals. Now we save this, we refresh, and instead of console logging any value, it's console logging true. Because we're doing this check, and where a single equal sets things, a double equal checks things. So equal equal is saying if this value is equal to 3, and we're console logging that. So it's almost like a sentence. You're saying, is this value equal to 3? Yes, it's true. So thus, we are printing out true here. So this is just very basic into operators, and we're going to be getting into lots more operators. In fact, we'll have a whole video on them, all the cool stuff you can do with that. But first, we're going to show you if statements. So in the next video, I'm going to show you what an if statement is, and then we're going to go over operators, and you're going to be able to control your if statements in all sorts of ways, and then you're going to get into some really cool stuff. And before you know it, you're going to be having these interactive, cool experiences with JavaScript on your websites. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tuts. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment in the video or hit us up at Twitter at Level Up Tuts. Let us know what you're thinking. We're also on Facebook. We're all over the place. So, I try to get to comments too. I actually just noticed that I haven't been receiving email to my Level Up Tuts email for a couple of weeks, and I've been super busy, so I didn't even notice. So if you emailed us or wrote a comment in, I'm trying to catch up right now. So, just keep that in mind. Always doing our best to catch up. So thanks for watching, and once again, this is Scott. Bye.